Topics covered: 1. International agreements and guidelines in cybersecurity. 2. Third-party acquisitions and divesture security. 3. The ICS-2 Code of Ethics. 4. Information security governance, values, vision, mission, and plans. 5. Information security governance, policies, standards, guidelines, procedures, baseline. 6. Access control categories and types. 7. Risk management, identification and assessment. 8. KGIs, KPIs and KRIs. International agreements and guidelines in cybersecurity play a crucial role in promoting collaboration, harmonizing approaches, and addressing the global challenges of cybersecurity. These agreements and guidelines are developed by international organizations, governments, and stakeholders to establish common principles, standards, and best practices for ensuring the security of digital ecosystems. United Nations, UN, Group of Governmental Experts, GGE. The UN GGE addresses issues related to the use of information and communication technologies, ICTs, in the context of international security. The Budapest Convention on Cybercrime, also known as the Council of Europe Convention on Cybercrime, this treaty aims to harmonize cybercrime laws and enhance international cooperation in investigating and prosecuting cybercrimes. Organization of American States, OAS, Cybersecurity Program. The OAS promotes cybersecurity through capacity-building initiatives, policy discussions, and information sharing among its member states in the Americas. Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC, Privacy Framework. APEC's Privacy Framework provides guidelines for the protection of personal information in the Asia-Pacific region, emphasizing the importance of balancing privacy with the free flow of information. European Union, EU, NIS Directive. The EU Network and Information Security, NIS, Directive aims to improve the cybersecurity of critical infrastructure sectors within EU member states. NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, CCDCOE. The CCDCOE contributes to NATO's cyber defense capabilities by conducting research, training, and providing expertise on cyber defense and international law in cyberspace. G7 Declaration on Responsible States' Behavior in Cyberspace. The G7 countries endorsed this declaration to promote a rules-based international order in cyberspace. Global Forum on Cyber Expertise, GFCE. The GFCE facilitates international cooperation in capacity building for cybersecurity through knowledge sharing, training, and collaboration among governments, private sector, and civil society. African Union, O, Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection. This convention aims to harmonize cybersecurity laws across African Union member states and promote the protection of personal data. Common Criteria for Information Technology Security Evaluation. The Common Criteria is an international standard for evaluating the security features and capabilities of IT products. These international agreements and guidelines contribute to the development of a safer and more secure digital environment by fostering cooperation, establishing norms of behavior, and encouraging the adoption of best practices in cybersecurity. They emphasize the importance of collaboration among countries, organizations, and stakeholders to address the evolving challenges posed by cyber threats. Third-party acquisitions and divesture security. Security considerations during third-party acquisitions, buying another company, and divestitures, selling part of a company, are critical to ensure that sensitive information, systems, and assets are properly protected throughout the transition. Third-party acquisitions, buying another company, due diligence. Conduct thorough security due diligence on the target company's information systems, data protection practices, security controls, and vulnerabilities. Data inventory and classification. Identify and classify sensitive data that will be acquired, and assess how it will be protected and integrated into your existing environment. Contractual agreements. Include security requirements and acquisition agreements to ensure that security practices and standards align with your organization's expectations. Integration planning. Develop a comprehensive security integration plan to smoothly merge the acquired company's systems, processes, and data into your existing security framework. Access management. Implement proper access controls for employees and systems during the transition to prevent unauthorized access to sensitive information. Incident response. Review and update incident response plans to address potential security incidents during and after the acquisition. Security awareness training. Provide security training to employees from the acquired company to ensure they understand your organization's security policies and practices. Access control. Remove access to systems and data that are being divested to prevent unauthorized access. Data deletion or transfer. Decide whether to securely delete data from systems being divested or transfer it to the acquiring entity as part of the divestiture. Notification of changes. Notify employees, clients, and stakeholders about the divestiture and any changes that might impact their interactions with your organization. Incident response. Update incident response plans to address potential security incidents related to the divestiture. Legal and compliance considerations. Address legal and regulatory compliance requirements when transferring data and assets to the acquiring entity. Documentation. Document the entire divestiture process, including security measures taken, to ensure a smooth transition and address potential future audits. The CISSP Code of Ethics is a set of principles and guidelines designed to guide the ethical conduct of information security professionals who hold certifications from CISSP, an international nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity education and certifications. The Code of Ethics outlines the expectations for behavior and decision-making that CISSP members should adhere to in their roles as security professionals. The Code of Ethics is an important part of maintaining the integrity, professionalism, and trustworthiness of the cybersecurity community. Here is an overview of the main principles of the CISSP Code of Ethics. Protect society, the common good, necessary public trust, and confidence. Information security professionals should prioritize the safety and well-being of society, protect public trust, and work to prevent harm to individuals, organizations, and the public. Act honestly and responsibly. Professionals should always be truthful, trustworthy, and transparent in their actions and communications. Provide diligence and competence. Professionals are expected to continually develop and maintain their skills, knowledge, and expertise to ensure they can effectively fulfill their roles and responsibilities. Advance and protect the profession. Professionals should act in a way that enhances the reputation of the cybersecurity profession, promotes ethical behavior, and supports the professional development of others. Fairness and respect. Professionals should treat all individuals with respect and fairness, regardless of differences in opinions, backgrounds, or other factors. Compliance with laws, regulations, and agreements. Professionals should adhere to all applicable laws, regulations, contracts, and agreements related to their work. Report ethics violations. Professionals should report unethical behavior or violations of the Code of Ethics to appropriate authorities. Adhering to the CISSP Code of Ethics helps build trust within the cybersecurity community and ensures that professionals approach their work with a strong commitment to ethical conduct, professionalism, and the well-being of society. Values in information security governance refer to the guiding principles and ethical standards that define the organization's approach to security. These values emphasize integrity, confidentiality, accountability, transparency, and the responsible use of technology. Vision. The vision in information security governance outlines the desired future state of the organization's security posture. It envisions a secure environment where data, systems, and assets are well protected, risks are minimized, and stakeholders trust the organization's commitment to security. Mission. The mission statement in information security governance communicates the organization's purpose and focus in achieving its security objectives. The mission statement may include commitments to safeguarding data, complying with regulations, and maintaining a strong security culture. Plans. Security plans outline the strategies, goals, and actions required to achieve the organization's security objectives. The vision sets a long-term aspiration for security excellence, while the mission outlines the purpose and focus of security efforts. Policies. Information security policies are high-level statements that define the organization's stance on security-related matters. They provide a framework for decision-making and guide the establishment of security controls. Standards. Security standards are specific, detailed requirements and specifications that provide a baseline for implementing security controls. They define the technical and operational aspects of security measures, such as encryption protocols, authentication methods, and configurations. Guidelines. Security guidelines are recommended practices and suggestions for achieving security objectives. They provide flexibility and context-specific recommendations to address various security scenarios. Procedures. Security procedures are step-by-step instructions for carrying out specific security tasks or activities. Baselines. Security baselines are predefined levels of security controls and configurations that are considered the minimum acceptable standard. Access control is a fundamental component of information security that involves managing who can access what resources and under what circumstances. Access control can be categorized into different types based on the methods used to grant or restrict access. Mandatory access control, MAC. MAC enforces access based on strict security labels or classifications. It's commonly used in government and military environments where data sensitivity is high. Access decisions are made by the system administrator, not the user. Discretionary access control, DAC. DAC allows data owners to determine who can access their resources. Role-based access control, RBAC. RBAC assigns access based on predefined roles. Users are grouped into roles, and access rights are assigned to those roles. This simplifies access management and ensures that users only have access to what's necessary for their roles. Attribute-based access control, ABAC. ABAC grants access based on attributes of the user, the resource, and the environment. Rule-based access control, RBAC. RBAC uses a set of rules to determine access. Rules can be based on conditions such as time of day, location, and user attributes. Discretionary access control lists, DACLs, and system access control lists, SACLs. DACLs specify who can access an object and what permissions they have, while SACLs define what actions are audited for a particular object. Both are used in Windows environments for fine-grained access control and auditing. Time-based access control. Time-based access control restricts access to resources based on specified time windows. It's useful for scenarios where access is needed only during certain periods. Attribute-based access control, ABAC. ABAC grants access based on a combination of attributes associated with the user, the resource, and the environment. Dynamic access control, DAC. DAC involves adjusting access based on changing circumstances, such as the user's location, device, or behavior. It adds an additional layer of security by adapting access based on context. Risk management is a systematic process used to identify, assess, and mitigate potential threats or vulnerabilities that could negatively impact an organization's objectives. This process helps organizations make informed decisions about allocating resources to reduce or mitigate risks. Here's an overview of the identification and assessment stages of risk management. Risk identification. Risk identification involves identifying potential risks, threats, vulnerabilities, and opportunities that could affect the organization. This can be done through brainstorming sessions, analysis of historical data, stakeholder input, and scenario analysis. The goal is to create a comprehensive list of potential risks that the organization might face. Risk assessment. Risk assessment involves evaluating the identified risks in terms of their potential impact and likelihood of occurrence. This step helps prioritize risks based on their significance to the organization. Risk assessment often involves assigning numerical values to impact and likelihood to calculate a risk score. Common methods for risk assessment include qualitative assessment, using descriptive terms like high, medium, low, and quantitative assessment, using numerical scales. Impact can relate to financial loss, reputation damage, operational disruptions, or other negative outcomes. Likelihood. Estimate the probability that a risk event will occur. Likelihood is influenced by factors such as historical data, trends, and expert judgment. Risk score. The combination of impact and likelihood results in a risk score that helps prioritize risks. Risks with high scores typically require more immediate attention and mitigation efforts. Risk communication. Once risks have been identified and assessed, effective communication is essential. Risk documentation. Documenting the identified risks, their assessment results, and the recommended mitigation strategies is crucial for maintaining a record of the risk management process. They enable organizations to gain a comprehensive understanding of potential threats and vulnerabilities, prioritize them based on their potential impact, and make informed decisions about risk mitigation strategies. These steps lay the groundwork for developing effective risk treatment plans to manage and mitigate identified risks. Key performance indicators, KPIs. KPIs are measurable metrics that help organizations track and evaluate their progress toward achieving strategic goals and objectives. KPIs provide insight into the effectiveness and efficiency of various business processes. Examples of KPIs include revenue growth, customer satisfaction scores, employee productivity, and website traffic. Key result indicators, KRIs, are metrics that measure the achievement of specific outcomes or results, often related to a particular project or initiative. Unlike KPIs, which are broader performance indicators, KRIs are more focused on specific outcomes. KRIs enable risk management teams to monitor trends and deviations from expected levels, allowing for timely interventions. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share and subscribe.